Just wanted to make a real quick video for people who complain about the twitchy, jumpy, choppy kind of throttle that you feel on the 300L, CRF300L. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do and in what order to do it. First of all, you don't need to go buy an ECU. All these fucking people, all these consumer drones tell you to run out and buy an ECU for it. It has an ECU. What you need to do is go over here and do what the dealerships don't do when you pay them to do it, which is set up the bike. So you need to go over here on the right side of the bike and look at the slack in your throttle cables here. Okay? This side and this side. This side will always be a little bit looser than this side. But when I received this bike, you pay for a setup at the dealerships, and they don't do it. So when I received this bike, both of these cables were basically in half moon shapes. They had so much slack in them. It was absolutely ridiculous. There was probably a 1/4 inch of throttle turn up here before there was any actual tightness, not even engagement, but tightness of these cables. So you don't want them like piano wire tight, okay? You want a little bit of slack in it, but I'm telling you, a little bit. You can take what feels like all of the slack out. I believe they say you should have 5 millimeters of play, free play on the throttle up here. But here's the thing. These grips are rubber. You get free play in the grip alone. So just the rubber will give you some free play on some of these. But I have mine down to almost absolutely nothing. And if you go both directions, that's probably, and the rubber is just tightening. So this is a really poor way to judge. But let's see if I'm messing with it. Tell. See, there's a little bit of slack in there. I'm not engaging anything yet. Here, I'm going to tighten it. Okay, now it's tight. I'm turning a little bit more, and it just starts to crack. You can take a lot of it out, but what you need to do is turn it, adjust it, okay? You adjust it up here, and then look up that procedure, adjust it up here, and be somewhere where you can turn it full lock both directions and make sure that your throttle isn't hanging up on the return. You need to make sure it snaps back freely. If it's hanging up or dragging or catching at all, then you've either got an issue here with like rubber, if you've done hand guards and swapped stuff out, you got a contact issue there, or you have adjusted it too far, because that'll happen when you adjust it too far. And when you turn, you could actually be putting in throttle input, because there has to be some slack in these cables, the right amount. So don't adjust it too far, but let me tell you, you can take it all off, and this is not a problem off-road. People will say, oh, it becomes twitchy then off-road, you know, when you accidentally put in throttle. No, it doesn't. I have not experienced that one bit whatsoever. The second thing, after you do that, then you can do the throttle position sensor reset procedure, which I will put a picture of right here. All right, well, apparently I actually don't have that picture. I had a different picture. So what you do is you're going to go to the bike and you're going to turn the bike display on, let the display boot up, and then turn it off, and then turn it back on. And now, when the display screen boots all up, you're going to fully open the throttle and fully close the throttle 3 times. Okay? And then wait a couple seconds and turn it off. Then wait a couple seconds and then turn the bike on. And that is the throttle position reset procedure. So after you've done that, then what you need to do is you need to put 2,000 miles on this bike before you start complaining about it out the box, because it has to break in. The ECU is new. It doesn't really have any inputs past the programming on it. And the ECU learns your inputs. It learns little fine details, and it smooths out delivery as it learns from you, your riding style and your inputs and stuff. So that ECU is learning. In my opinion, the ECU was learning through 2,000 miles. It was still getting better and better. You need to put miles on this bike. I can't tell you how many idiots I saw that sold this bike as soon as they got it. Some of the idiots sold this bike before it was even past the break-in. People are so fucking stupid nowadays, it's unbelievable. You have to break the bike in. 600 miles is just the initial engine break-in. The bike's not broke in. That's just the initial engine bedding in. Okay? You have to go to 2,000 miles. And then everything on this bike starts to smooth out through that time frame. Everything gets better. And this bike, I've got, 3,000 miles on it now, something like that. It's become great. I do have the 550 ECU because I did plan on doing some other improvements to the bike, some modifications and stuff. So I went ahead and got it. But I got that super early because I know that you can send that ECU back once you've bought it from 550. You can send it back and get different tunes on it as you progress with modifications. So you're not locked in to whatever initial tune you went with. But I went with the 87 octane stock bike improved tune. That's the bottom line tune. And I popped that in around 1,000 miles, maybe. And it did nearly nothing for the twitchy, jumpy throttle symptoms that the bike has. It did very little. It did some at the very, very bottom end of the RPMs, like just trying to crawl in first gear. It did some. It cleaned up a little bit of that, but nowhere near what adjusting the throttle cable free play out cleared up and doing the throttle position sensor reset procedure. So you need to do those three things before you need to go out and buy something else to make it any better. Unless, like I planned, you're going to improve the bike as you go, after your warranty wears out or whatever. If that's the case, then just go ahead and buy it. It does make a minute difference, but you're going to be disappointed in how little it changes those symptoms. You will not be disappointed when you adjust that obnoxious amount of free play, throttle cable free play out. It'll be a world of difference when you get it right. I mean, you adjust almost all of it out. That's the free play that I have. And that's literally just the tube kind of rocking about. I mean, it's nothing. Not a problem off-road. Do those three things before you sell this bike or before you go complaining that it's bad, and before you go blow $300 on an ECU.